Just in case you're wondering, we are rolling by, we are plodding on 3 weeks before Christmas Eve.
Is it 3 weeks? I think it's 2 weeks na lang, right? Ah, yeah, 3 weeks. On the
Right?
dot.
So, yes, so we are going to have intimate conversations with Professor of Psychiatry, Dr. Agnes Bueno. And I think it's a good jump start for us it's good to jump start the program with, I think our Christmas this year, 2020, will be very, very different. In fact, there was this, maybe we should explore this message that I was able to read. It says here, we don't have to continue holiday traditions that leave us broke, overwhelmed, and tired. Do you
Mm.
agree?
Ah, yes, yes, I agree. But see, part of the excitement and the spirit of the season is doing just that, tiring yourself up until you drop, and it's just for once in a year, right?
Yeah.
So parang it just reminds us to be a bit, merry, right?
I think no matter what I mean, whatever world you come from, whether you're in this, because Christmas had become like a hallmark celebration. But at the very bottom of it, what it really means is that, for maybe once a year, people are a little kinder, a little more forgiving. And traditionally here in our country, it's pretty much very family oriented, 'di ba? So that gives the semblance of oneness or unity. Kahit hindi unified, basta semblance lang.
Kaya nga
So,
the flip side to that, Jake, is
hmm,
because of that family orientation. It's sometimes called there's a disorder called seasonal mood disorder, because for those who don't have family and they're just by themselves, they're alone, it really provokes some kind of depressive constellation every Christmas,
yeah,
every season.
yeah, I
So
heard,
there's an increase of cases of some kind of depression during the holidays. So
yeah.
it's like the holiday blues.
Yeah, I heard about
Yes.
that, especially when we were working abroad. It's called, I think, the SAD, but it does mean
Seasonal
season.
affective disorder.
Oh, so, and especially in colder climate, a lot of people commit suicide because they don't see the sun and they feel like they're at the end of the rope. Do you think this season might be a little bit different because there is a precursor, meaning there's a whole year of preparation to have a different type of gathering?
Well, we cannot really gather, right? So
Oh,
it really triggers or enhances the sadness, the depressive feelings of being alone, and especially if there is no sun, so it adds to the mood of some kind of gloominess, right?
hmm.
That's what I didn't like with England or the UK. It's always so gloomy, even if it's not the holiday season. So I think we have to be thankful that we are in a tropical place, and as it is now, the sun is peeping through, even if it was raining earlier. So the transition, even of my mood, is from waking up to a cloudy day, and then when the sun starts peeping, it really lifts your spirit. The sun.
Yeah, it does.
You
It
don't
does.
have to have anyone else as long as you have the sun.
Yes,
But if
that's
you don't
true.
have the sun, wow, how gloomy can it be, you know? How
Yeah.
sad can it be?
Yeah, but we're in the tropics, so we're definitely gonna have.
Right, that's why, all of us should be thankful we have the sun, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So, well, because of that too, in the past years, pre-COVID times, we have the sun, and then we do connect with our family. So that makes it festive. But I guess this year will be a little bit different. Maybe a Zoom meeting will help, no?
Well, it's it's not just a little different. It is quite different because hindi ba here, September you already feel the Christmas tinge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody gets a little bit sad when it's already Christmas because it soon will be over.
Yeah. I
Soon.
mean, I do remember when it's December, like for example, it's Tuesday, December the 8th. Well, it's already like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before Christmas, but we're taping this day on a Tuesday. I'm just saying that this will be broadcast on Thursday, but I'm just saying at this time the Christmas rush is all over the city, and then you really cannot, because the population is so dense here in Metro Manila that you do also suffer from a lot of headache and pressure in preparation for that festive holiday. But now we're rid of that. No, uh, I I I am slowly, I think my I am slowly preparing to have a quiet one, and perhaps it's more meaningful because of the past months that made us think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. May delay ba yung question?
No, yeah, you didn't ask me a question.
Yeah. So I'm just saying
You,
that
yeah, mhm.
but in the past
you
months,
you you intend to do it differently.
what are your plans ba? Do you even plan
Me,
anything?
it's always Christmas with me. If
Wow.
you come to my house, it's always Christmas all year round.
Oo nga,
I
you don't bring down the tree, right?
Nah, no. Before I used to do certain things, but no. And I think Christmas is really for children also, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oo.
As you grow up, parang Christmas parties are already some kind of kid stuff.
Well, what were you doing last year in December about this time?
Last year,
Seems so far away.
it seems like I can't really remember.
Ang tawag doon ay ano, uh,
Selective amnesia.
selective amnesia. So it's not
Yeah.
worth it. It's not worth remembering because you don't remember. But perhaps this year, this is probably in the books. We will remember this birthday year and our Christmas year, this 2020, because it's going to be so different.
Oh, yes, yes. But some things are the same. Some things are the same. A few neighbors have, sent some little kind of thing, like something I can munch on, something I can eat. So, some things remain the same. But then this year, of course, it's not going to be the same. It's as if I haven't really felt Christmas yet. And
Yeah,
perhaps I won't ever feel it this year.
yeah, yeah, yes. I agree. So Christmas in our hearts every single day, it's probably the best thing, you know. I mean, we've definitely pushed ourselves to be in the present. You know, the situation gave us more time to really see what's right before us and really
But
accept it.
what is really the meaning of Christmas? Sometimes I guess because of the mundane worldliness of people, they have forgotten what it means. I think that the real gist there is some kind of uh, following the teachings of the one whose birthday is being celebrated on Christmas.
You know that it's not really his birthday, right? You're also familiar
No,
with
no, no. In the in the it's not really the exact, because
correct, correct.
there's even a question nowadays whether Jesus Christ really existed, right? So it's parang it's a hypothetical kind of date
Yun na nga.
set. But then there's got to be some meaning to it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time if there's no meaning to it. And
Right.
the way I see it, it's really a time to look back at the year, think about people who are significant to you, or one person I know every Christmas he goes around giving the street kids some kind of little money, and he enjoys doing that every Christmas.
Sino yan?
And hindi ko na
Okay.
sasabihin.
Okay, okay, okay. You know what? Actually, there's a lot of heroes that are every day. They don't even announce what they do, but I know there's a lot of people that make this world a better place, and they're countless. These are angels in the world that really do good stuff, and they don't need an announcement for it, and they just do it because they want to do it, because they love to do it. Madami din ganun eh.
Oo, oo naman. It's more meaningful that way.
Oo.
Kasi like for example, mas significant sa akin yung mga the guy who sweeps the street in front of me and overextends himself by sweeping up to my front door kasi I don't have a gate. I think you've been here to
Yes,
the house.
yes,
So
yes,
wala
yes.
akong front gate. So he overextends himself by sweeping yung front na part ng
Oo.
ano ko na, Hindi na niya kailangan. He doesn't need to do it.
Yeah.
So every Christmas, that's when I really remember him and
Yeah.
give him some acknowledgement to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yung mga ganyan ba, I think that's the meaning of Christmas to me kasi it's the end of the year. So you look back at your year and acknowledge people who have been significant to you that year, di ba?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You just gave me an idea that, because I've had so many episodes, maybe I'm just gonna get one show and thank every single person who contributed to the vision that I have. Um, there comes a point also where you become reflective, and I think this I've been pretty reflective these past few days because um uh there are some unforeseen circumstances that really come in our lives that we have to be facing, and it may be finances for others, it may be family problems with others, or iba-iba yung ano but I and they come like a thief in the knife, and they just appear right in front of you. And then obviously your thinking mind is always to say, what's the solution? I'm always like, when I'm faced with some sort of challenge, I look at it and say, okay, what's the solution for this so I can move on? But there are big problems sometimes that we face, and you can't sweep it under the rug. You really have to acknowledge its magnanimity, or its what however big it is, and say, okay, I'm going to deal with you right now. And it's overwhelming sometimes, and And even though sometimes I feel like we come from a place of, in terms of privilege, I'm just saying that sometimes because we go live, we have internet, and we're able to sort out our thoughts. This is already, in some places, this is called a privilege, right? Like, this is because we have the technicalities to do this. And then sometimes, like, a hurricane or a tsunami comes into, this is what happened to me, actually. I'm not even going to say if, no, but this happened to me like a couple of weeks ago, or maybe in a week's time. And then we're like, okay, how? So my attack on it is really look at it, hold it by the horn, and say, okay, I'm going to deal with you. But sometimes it also teaches us that you can't, it's hard to really, there's some things that you can't control, right? I mean, to be specific, no, I don't want to be specific. There's some things that you can't control, and then maybe accepting that you can't control it will be less stressful,
Of course.
'di ba?
And most of the time there are more things that one cannot control in life, you see. So i- i- people, in that way, people suffer a lot. But see, if there's nothing you can do, you just let it pass.
Yeah. Yung nga din yun, that was our conversation last weekend. I think the resistance is the one that's stressful, but actually acceptance is more, you breathe more. You're more like, okay, accept it. I mean, you will do something about it. You will take up the challenge, but you can't resist it. If you have a misunderstanding with a sibling, or your family, you always want to say, oh, I want to keep it cool. But there are days that you really do not. You cannot, even though how much you try, there are just some things that you can't iron out, and you just say, okay, that's fine.
As we talked about last, in the previous conversations, a better effective way of dealing with those things that you cannot control is, say something like, well, it could be worse. It does some kind of miracle to your state of being, is to think that it could be worse. So just be
I
thankful.
think in my mind, I always have that. I always think that,
Yes.
I always check the place that I'm in, and I always am in gratitude to what I have. And I think it's a great thing to say, to let it come out of your mouth that it could be worse, and then you realize that it is not worst. Diba?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's relative, the relativity to it. I think that's very effective. Otherwise, you really go bonkers, and say, "Oh my gosh, why is it like this? Why?" So it's an it's a never-ending why.
Mm. Kasi yung sa atin kasi ginagawa natin is series, no? I mean, we're taping once a week. So I could see the development of my mental state. And then at the same time, I know we're able to express perhaps as a psyche amongst, my peers or the people who are listening to us. But at the same time, either are, challenges that confront us personally. I don't know what's challenging you personally, but sometimes we're faced with it, and then you question, like, oh, okay, so how do we deal about this? It's a never ending thing as we go along. I think what I'm trying to get at is that because this is a reflected time for me because all of a sudden I know that the year is ending, and I know if we tape by next week, that's we probably need to take a break because it's really holiday season. And we
Mm.
have to, it will be nice to, go over the episodes of intimate conversations from day one until the ninth episode, which is this. And perhaps create a an overall uh, our takeaway from the episodes for the year, diba?
Well, that would be fine, Uh, but it's as if it's just one moment in time, It's, I guess, for me, it's just one moment in time. It hasn't really occupied my whole year, right?
Correct, correct.
But it's a significant one moment in time.
Parang katayan ni Whitney Houston.
Ganun ba?
One moment in time.
Oh, really? I don't know that.
Ah!
No, yeah, really. I don't listen much to Whitney Houston's songs.
Yeah. Kanino lang.
Mas gusto ko kasi yung mga jazz or yung mga
Ella Fitzgerald. Yes, yes, yeah.
yes, somewhat like that. The old ones, the sultry singers. Kasi
Mm.
parang nandun yung ano ko whatever.
Inclination.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I
Yeah.
love, I can spend what keeps me awake sometimes at night is listening to beautiful music. So I can't sleep. It keeps me awake. Lalo nang, that's why maybe I should stop listening to music before I go to sleep.
Oo, kasi it keeps your mind active. So
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
ano na to, ano natin, gagawin natin sa Pasko? Ano bang
Wala
plano
eh.
mo?
Wala.
Ha?
Talaga. Whatever, Whatever it is.
Do you light a
You
candle?
know what, Jake? Kasi
Mm.
may difference tayo ng age, no?
Mm-mm.
I'm old enough to be your mother, perhaps. So we differ in what are important
Yeah.
to each of us.
Well, tell us
Ako
what's
kasi,
important when,
I
when
have
you're at that age. Maybe it's time to learn that so it could prepare
no,
me.
I have really disattached myself to whoever, to anyone, because this kind of, the dependence, the attachments are what keeps you from gaining some kind of internal peace. So I've been spending perhaps a decade of disattaching myself, because in this kind of stage of your life you have to be preparing for the final leap, and I think that's what I'm into right now. So whatever, que sera sera, whatever, wherever you bring me to, Jake,
I like
no,
that.
I'd go along, but then at the same time, it's just one moment. And as we were saying last time, as long as you're alive, you have to really live it, diba?
Mm-mm.
Live it, but then it's got to be meaningful for every decade of your life. With me, I find myself so at ease, I'm not, I don't have to be worried about anyone else.
Of pressure. Yes, yes, yes.
Um, Even the cats have left me slowly, so perhaps they are leaving me alone, not to be attached to anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Kasi that's really what makes life toxic, trying to put up with expectations of society, expectations of persons you feel significant of, or you care about. So there's got to be a space in your life before you leap to disattach yourself in the true sense of the word. So I think I'm in that position right now, and
No, I
I
like
find
that.
myself being so at ease. I don't have to be so stressed at all, and it's amazing because it's pandemic time, and I find myself being at peace just being, simple minded.
Yeah,
Simple minded.
I like that though because it will sort of give me a bird's eye view of what I need to prepare. No, but I see that also. I've read that in books. There are certain people that I admire, like people. Oops, nahulog ka yata.
Lovely.
It's okay.
Yan. Put it a bit, yan.
Can you put it a little higher? Okay, don't touch that. Oops, you can see your hand. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
No, I think it's important that sometimes it's misconstrued when people want to be alone. I think one of the iconic people that we had probably both admire is is it Greta Garbo who said I want to be alone, or Marlene Dietrich?
No, she said exactly, I want to be left alone.
Left alone.
She didn't say she wants to be alone.
Yeah.
Ako naman, I want to be alone.
Yeah.
Yun ang sa akin. Ang Greta Garbo, I want to be left alone ang sinabi niya.
But it's been misconstrued all these years, but I totally understand where that is coming from. If you want to be left alone at a certain time, I see you na nga, parang I see that there's a preparation of this decade for you to be at peace to what you have, and totally stay in the moment, and
And to be ready,
and to
it's
be
like
ready.
preparing for something. It's
Yeah,
like preparing for something that's coming. Coming, not coming. So, I,
calming.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Parang ganun eh. Parang ganun talaga. And when people forget that, then they are shortchanging themselves in life, because you only have so much life to live, right? And people forget that. See? Because of this world of, I don't know, that's why I keep saying, my God, social pressure, social victims, social, institutionalization. I am done with those things. I want to just be alone and prepare myself for
Yeah.
something that I really do not know. And so I say, oh, well, that's the only thing you can do. You cannot control anything else except yourself. That's why my business has always been the internal architecture of the self. I think the ultimate destination of that is the final jump towards something, you know? So I'm at that stage actually now. And, okay lang, yung mga ganon. So people sometimes misconstrue it as whatever they want to think. But it's no longer important to me what another would expect of me. Yung mga ganon, that's too much, because people will never end expecting you to be something that you really cannot sometimes be. Di ba? So you spend your whole lifetime trying to be that, yung expectations ng iba. Eh walang katapusan yun eh. Like, with me, I have achieved so much. But translated by some superficial, people. Parang sasabihin self-centered, wala kang ibang alam kundi yung sarili mo, ganyan-ganyan, ganyan-ganyan. Samantalang, if I review my life, I have helped so many people with kindness. So, if you allow those things to overwhelm you, then you don't have enough time to think na, oops, teka muna, 50 na ako or 60 na ako or ganyan na ako. But it does not mean that you have to stop living. Kasi, ako, well, medyo kung minsan meron pa rin akong nagugustuhan. Pero hindi na yung parang wow, parang ano na yun ang buhay mo. No. Ako, kung may magustuhan ako at gusto niya ako, pwede pa rin. Di ba? Yung mga ganon. Hindi, parang actually panlabas na nga lamang yon. Pero it's fun. It's enjoyable. I love enjoying my life actually, but not within the context of someone dictating me what I should do or what I should be, or ganyan-ganyan ka, hello, hello. So sasabihin ko na lang, okay, ganun ba? Pero sasabihin ko, don't you know that I know better than you are, or those things are really not important to me. Pero sa sarili ko na lang. When I was younger, I would say it out loud. Ngayon, come on, even if you're wrong, sometimes I just allow you to be wrong kasi, eh, wala rin eh. Magagalit ka pa sa akin. So, wag na lang, di ba? Peaceful na lang na I'll just allow you to be a fool. O sige, di you be a fool, right? Di ba? Hindi ako, I always say to anyone, like halimbawa, whatever, whomever, sasabihin ko parati, oy, hindi ako nanay mo. Sasabihin ko, eto, si Lovely, kadalasan sinasabi ko, ano ba yan? Hindi naman ako nanay mo. Dapat sinabi yun ng mama mo, dapat noon pa. So, hindi ko na yan trabaho, yung para akong nanay mo. Hindi ayoko nga. And also the romantic relationship, why na to turn off na ang mga tao? Kasi yung mga lalaki, ginagawa na nilang nanay nila yung mga asawa nila. Oh my gosh. I would never allow that. Kasi hindi ako nanay mo, no? Hello. Yung ganon. So, I find my life now very nice. I can do whatever I want. I can, whatever. Walang nakikialam. So, ang ganda, it's so nice.
Parang kang nagte-therapy sa akin.
Ay, salamat. Nag-gets din niya.
Ako yata ang doktor at ikaw.
Dapat binabayaran mo ako eh.
Hindi. Ikaw ay
nakakatawa because we were just talking about it. I was just telling Lovely. Sinasabi ko, hindi kayo napapansin ni Jake. Na parang, nag-iiba na siya ng konti.
Ayun na nga.
Ito si Lovely, tanungin mo siya.
Oo nga. Ako yung nagiging doktor, ikaw yung nagiging pasyente. Kasi pinapakinggan kita.
Nagiging ganon. Kaya ang hirap kasi parang nag-change ako ng role. Diba?
Now,
I allow you to rule me, but at the same time, I hit you underneath.
Yeah.
So, parang kang nagte-therapy talaga with me, actually.
Or ikaw ang nagte-therapy sa akin.
Well, tapos na yun eh. Ang tagal kong na-therapy, di ba?
Yeah.
5 years ako nagpa-psychoanalysis. That's excuse me.
Oo.
I had to get a drink.
Yeah. So, pero totoo yun I think in any, what you just made when you expressed yourself, I totally get that. I see that is the internal architecture is so important in your later days, in your, when you reach your senior years, and you have to evolve in that direction, no? So, of the self. Para walang, kasi nga yung expectation na sinasabi mo and the all those things are just pressure. But when you learn to accept that, to let go of that, I think,
Yes. Kasi, oh my gosh, how can, why kaya siguro they celebrate yung mga, they've been married for 45 years, 50 years. Kasi, if you read Margaret Mead, she's some kind of a social anthropologist or a psycho-anthropologist. She said that the most difficult transaction of humans is to be monogamous.
Ba't naman tayo napunta doon?
Oo nga. So sometimes, through the years, I keep reading, 20th anniversary, ganyan. They have to celebrate it, di ba? Or renew it kasi it's it's not really humanly possible. So ang hirap daw. Siya mismo nagsabi, di ba? So ako yun ang aking ano rin eh. That's where I am coming from. Kasi nakakainis ko minsan, people think that they are better kasi they're stable in their marriages. Imagine you've been with someone for 50 years. Para na kayo magkapatid noon. Talaga magkamag-anak na kayo, di ba? So it's quite an achievement, right? Eh,
Yeah, I
ako,
mean, gano'n naman din yung union yun,
ayoko
eh.
ng ganon.
Oo.
I don't want to be bound for that
That's
long.
why there are different ways to go about it, and there na nga eh, there are people like you, and not only you, there like half of the earth, probably, of the population of the world is probably do not think that way, do not believe in the institution, but there are others who are successfully living that way, and there are also others who
Oh
are.
yes, and that has to be respected,
Mm,
Jake.
mm,
My
mm.
only problem is that these people they look down on someone who's not doing what they are doing. I
Well,
mean,
that's their problem.
that's where I cringe kasi parang they look down or minamaliit or what yung mga hindi ganon. Hindi eh, that's where I say, "Oops, wait a minute."
Wait a
Don't
minute, Mr. Postman. Hey, hey, hey.
Ang daming kantang naaalala mo pag nagsasalita ako, di ba?
Uh,
That's why you can only hear these things in songs. Kasi hindi talaga pinag-uusapan. So they express it in poems, songs, and the movies. So parang caricature ng realities ko as a psychotherapist, yung mga pinapanood ninyo sa movies. I see it in real life and deeper than that.
mm,
Kasi syempre yung mga performing arts ganyan, you try to portray tapos 'di ba maraming practice ganyan tapos parang gagawing pulido para maging sa napanoorin ng tao. What I see are the real ones. You know, all versions of existence of humans. So, dapat nga pala kinukonsulta ang woman when they are directing love scenes. So if you review movies, parang talagang yung mga director lalaki talaga eh.
okay.
Whenever I watch
So that's
love scenes, sabi ko, hindi kinonsulta ang babae dito.
so now most recent there's this BBC series. The title is Normal People, and people should really watch it because there's a choreography with the lovemaking, and it was the point of view of a woman. Let me tell you, it is the most sensual okay, I'm gonna use erotic, but then erotic because he has a border. But all of a sudden, because it was choreographed by a woman, you never see the woman as an object, because there was total love making and playing or foreplay with the heterosexual couple. But it was the most intimate I've ever seen in a series. And
Kasi it's from the point of view of a woman. So
mm,
every time I watch a movie and I see the love scenes, ang parati kong sinasabi, malamang lalaki talaga nag-direct nito eh.
so ito, may proposal ako sa iyo. I'm gonna do there's a I have a project in the offing, and it's going to, maybe I should include you into this, because maybe you can, give us a little bit of a, explore the idea, because the story is about somebody who is, I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but it's about somebody who cannot sleep. He is sleep deprived. So there, of course, when there's sleep deprivation, there's a lot of paranoia, and it will explore that relationship with his neighbor, which is very interesting. It's going to be partly funded by the Estonia Film Institute and directed by by a Singaporean director. But I'd love you to take part of it and maybe perhaps give us some advice on like s- uh s-
You should be consulting someone like me if you want to
ayun na
really
nga, offer na nga yan eh. Sinasabi ko, you should,
portray something like that.
oo nga. So I'd
Do
like
you
you to,
know Do you know that when I read 50 Shades of Grey, kasi parati nila akong tinatanong noon, yung mga estudyante ko, what my opinion or how I see the 50 Shades of Grey. So I bought the whole series and read it in the book. And ang sagot ko sa kanila, my gosh, this is amateurist. They should have consulted someone like me. Kaya naging hit yan kasi kinonvert lang niya yung mga totoo sa buhay ng, practicing bondage na kinonvert niya into someone who's very rich, si Christian Grey. Kaya nag-appeal sa mga, sa mga tao, yung mga youngish readers. Pero, hindi naman siya parang sa tingin ko, they should have consulted someone like me who really knows how it is to be in bondage.
whoa, hindi, but for me,
Parang ewan na.
no. But for me, there was
Yes,
more.
what were you saying? I'm
No,
sorry, I
no, it's
interrupted you
okay, it's
kasi
okay. There,
naisip ko bigla yung 50 Shades of Grey na hit na sa tingin ko is amateurish. Parang ni-research lang nung author or nag-interview siya ng mga kung ilan-ilan. She didn't get the real gist of what it is to be in bondage. Hindi niya nakuha yun eh. So,
mm, well, there was
anyway,
in the
yeah.
early late 80s, early 90s. I think there was a film by Kim Basinger and Mickey Rourke. This is 9.5 weeks.
Oh,
That's a little bit more sophisticated, I think, on take on it, but it didn't really explore the idea of
it didn't
bondage.
have any story kasi. So, parang kulang.
Oh, kasi nga, it's just a story of what happened in 9.5 weeks. So that was
Pero, oo nga. So,
condensed
parang
there.
kulang. Yeah. I
But
saw that.
it touched on like emotions of bondage, emotions lang, like it touched on it very
Mm.
lightly and didn't really explore it. But I prefer, I like that version, and I still have vivid scenes in my mind, clear, that are very clear still in my mind. So by the way, so this is a good thing. Perhaps I could send you the script, take a look at it, read it, and then tell me what you think about it. Huh?
Oh, well, yeah, sure, fine. Wala
We,
naman
we,
akong ginagawa rin eh.
oh, we can get you as
I might end up to be a consultant
yun na nga.
for this kind of thing.
Pwede ka din choreographer sa bed.
Hindi lang yon. Dapat consultant din sa mga internal things na how to portray an internal something, how you can portray
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
kung,
yeah.
kung magiging director ka, dapat may mga consultants ka rin about those
Oh
matters.
yeah, yeah. I totally believe that. So I'd love basa. I really think that because we've had this discussion, that I can imagine you being part of the team, and we'll hire you as a consultant, or perhaps give us light while we explore the world of insomniacs,
Oh,
right?
maraming yan. Ibang mundo yung insomniacs.
Oo nga. Oo nga eh. Kasi you lack sleep, so you do have a lot.
alam mo ba na dito sa Metro Manila, there's some kind of a layer dito sa yung mismong Metro Manila ng mga uh, yung mga hindi ba may mga hinuhuli ng mga nag-exhibit ng mga kanila mga genitalia, ganyan. Merong layer dito na they ride in buses or transport na Meron silang mga how can I say it? Merong layer na diyan sila nag-meet. Yung mga babae at saka lalaking gusto ng ganon.
Oh
Ganon, no?
yeah. I
Wala
think
tayong kamalay-malay na there
no,
is some kind of life there
no, I'm
ng
sure.
mga something.
I mean, I think I can't really generalize, but I understand that there's a culture, especially yung time nung even before with kahit walang mga call center because di ba syempre call centers have a different daytime time zone, when they work, and most of their activities really happen in the dark. And although I can't really speak, I mean, I can't really say, but I've heard stories that a culture of fast sex or meetup is very very much practiced in
Yeah,
that.
it's some kind of a subculture.
But as also at the same time, this is nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I remember as a teenager, and I was rehearsing for or going to practice or auditioning for in at the Insular Theater for Repertory Philippines, and I hear stories that in the Triangle, where the Triangle is in Paseo, there's a lot of
Ah,
hookups there,
mhm,
and
mhm.
oops, exposed, and that was in the
Oh,
seven.
dyan din sa tapat ng tapat ng UST.
Yeah, and
Sa
Circle,
bandang
and
Cubao.
yeah, and then the Circle area also in the Diliman area. So I know these things exist, but people are very careful and very cordial with these conversations. But it's something that I knew existed. I was never ever blind to it.
Mhm. So
Hmm.
it's a fascinating world. It's a fascinating world. That's why just open your eyes and you are going to see.
It's
Ako
there.
naman,
Ikaw pala yung
I
nakapula
guess
doon. Joke.
hindi
That's a
I
joke. That's a joke.
no kasi I see parang it's like if you look at the sun, you just see a little portion of it, you see everything, di ba? Parang ganun eh. So I've had a lot kasi a lot talaga na nandyan sa world na yan din. So
Mm.
you
Well,
get desensitized to
yeah.
certain matters.
I
You
I
just
always
listen.
I always think that anything that if you live under the shadow and nga because it's hidden and stuff like that, it is there's something kinky about it and it's a little bit thrilling. But you actually, when you're open about it, it gives much light. It's better to do things in the daylight. So
Oh,
you don't have to you hide, you don't have to like carry that burden of being thinking that you're alone and stuff like that, because we probably share the same dilemma or the same desires.
oh
Diba?
yes. Kasi very, very plain naman yung mga usual na whatever, right? You need to be a little, hindi maganda yung masyadong straight. Parang may konting kink naman ng konti. Di ba? To
Mhm.
make, to make it more interesting. Di ba? Ganun eh. Kaya lang yung iba talaga square talaga sila, It's really like that. So they cannot tolerate those things and then they label you as subhuman or something. Hindi naman ganun talaga mundo eh.
Yeah.
Di ba?
We have no judgment with because I know that exists, and that's part of of any kind of society, and there's definitely no judgment or we're passing on definitions of that, but understanding it and realizing that they exist is definitely more
Yes.
tolerable,
It's more fun
more fun.
to be open.
Mm-mm.
So, if it's Christmas, you have to be a little bit open to being more
Ang ganda ng,
generous.
ang ganda ng segue mo, naging Christmas.
Hindi, kasi hindi pa dun tayo nagumpisa.
Yeah.
It's probably because of the color of my dress. It's
Yes,
looking a little bit like Christmas, I
but
guess.
I guess. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's been I think we've shared something. a lot of these are like explorations and free association, as the professor of psychiatry always says. uh, we did start up the program with you know about that looming pressure, or looming feeling or festivity of Christmas somewhere around the corner, and ended up exploring about taboos and what have you, and we came back to Christmas. And I hope for some people who are feeling a little down, or who are just facing something that they, you know, that's right up there, just dropped like a time bomb right in front of you. Don't be phased, just always try to hold that uh, by the horn, and take it, and maneuver it smoothly to your day. It's one of those things that makes this life more interesting. After all, if you don't have anything like that, what have we to talk about, right?
Right. Kaya nakakainggit ang, this is what I envy, if there's such a thing as envy. I think I admire, perhaps is the better term, of, of, of Filipinos, is it's like they live just for one little something, festivities. Parang wala silang ibang care. So it's very hard to be that way if you are a little bit like someone who's a thinker,
Mm.
someone who has some kind of depth and all that. So sometimes nakakainggit kasi wala silang ibang
Cares
uh, cares.
or
They don't
worry.
have any much care. So sasabihin ko, bakit sila ganun? Tapos why? It's so mundane. It's so shallow. So parang I say that to myself, but I never say it to them because there's some tinge of admiration as to how they can do it. That's why I said one time before that some people cannot achieve the level of being depressed because there's a higher level to feel some kind of internal depressive kind of layer. So,
Mm.
yun. So, para kang, nakaano ka na obste ka, ano ka na, no? Pwede ka ng adult kasi ano ka na, yung matured ka na, yung ganun ba? Kasi autistic kids cannot achieve that level, kaya sila autistic. See? So, it's, yeah, that's life, Jake.
Mm.
We
It
live
is, it is
only once
admirable. I mean,
in this
even
world.
all you have to do is really look around your community, and even your my own family is, all they think about is like really, getting, of course, preparing with the tradition for festivities. But then I often wonder, yeah, maybe we should take it a little different this year, because, I mean, we kasi minsan mga Pilipino, o benta na yung kalabaw na yan. O, di ba? Basta meron tayong handa. Di ba?
Oo, yung
Uh,
ganon. So,
uh,
yeah. Oh, there's nothing wrong with
yeah,
that.
there's nothing
Kaya
wrong
nga
with that.
lamang, if you have a different kind of perspective, eh, hindi ganon. Kasi
Mm.
parang momentary nga Di ba, no?
Well,
So,
momentary is where we're at, right? We want to just celebrate for the moment. So actually, maganda talaga yung bahala na. Kasi nga, wala nang care. Bahala na. Basta,
bahala na. Oo, kasi alam mo, derived yan from bathala na.
correct.
Na shorten yan eh. So parang, I leave it all to the Almighty or the
Almighty.
Bathala. Parang ganun yan eh.
But reclaiming that word, though, is really meaningful, because I think that kind of psyche is also something of good exploration, ha? Pag-usapan natin yung bahala na.
Alam mo, pagka sinabi na ng Filipino, yung katagang bahala na, humanda ka. Kasi bahala na talaga. See? So it's some
Correct.
kind of, parang
Em-
preparedness.
Empowerness. Yeah, empower. Yeah, yeah,
Hindi,
yeah.
parang ano na yan, humanda ka kasi ano na yan, talagang titirada na, no?
Yeah. Kasi nga, di
Parang
ba?
ganon.
Kasi, oo. But
Diba? O, tumatawa si Lovely. Alam mo siyang masyadong nakakagets dito sa conversation natin kasi
kaya nga.
she's so enthralled
Di
in
ba?
listening to us.
Oo.
Kasi, can
So,
you imagine someone like her listening to these things?
but wait a
Aba,
minute. No, no. In fact, you and I, yung conversation natin, yung palang therapy natin si Lovely. Free!
oo, masyado siyang ano she's having
Enjoy.
fun here. Oh, nandyan lang siya sa tabi. Nakikinig talaga intently.
Oo. So,
See?
ang maganda nga yan, yung bahala. Kasi it's been coined also na parang wala kang pakialam dun sa di ba yun?
No, talagang you're ready to go.
No, no, no.
Whatever.
But before, the word was also on a negative way because yung parang sabi nung Kastila, di ba, tamad ang mga Pilipino, one tamad kasi walang hindi iniisip yung future. Pero actually, when you reclaim the word now to the 21st century, when you say bahala na, there's some sort of like readiness into it.
Yes. They'll just jump and say, bahala
Bahala
na.
na.
See?
Ah,
Pag wala yung bahala na, hindi sila makaka-jump.
correct.
Oo.
Na lang na.
Ano?
Na. Wala na yung bahala eh. Na.
Na. Ano yung na?
Sabi ko walang bahala.
Hindi. Hindi. Magkasama yun eh. Magkasama yun. Yung bahala na. Kung bahala, hindi eh. Ang bahala eh, non-caring. Bahala ka sa buhay mo, manigas ka. Yung iba yon. Yung bahala na, wow, nakakapangamba na kasi naka-reach na siya ng point.
Okay. O yan. Sige, yan ang
O,
jump
diba?
start natin for next week. Bahala na for 2021. Yes!
Yes! Oo, bahala na.
Bigla na lang merong lumabas for our topic next week, naturally.
O,
So let's prepare for this. It's been an hour on my
sige.
clock. So, and
Yes.
we want to give in gratitude to our lovely from from that side.
Alam mo ba, nakakatawa yung pangalan ni Lovely. Kasi minsan, yung isang security guard, ang sabi sa akin, Doktora, dumating na po si Darling. Sabi ko, sinong Darling? Sabi ko, malamang si Lovely yan. Ba't kasi ganyan ang pangalan mo, Lovely? Tawagan lang yan ng mga magda-darling. Kaya tuloy sabi ng security guard, andito na si Darling. Yeah. That's a slip of the tongue. That's a Freudian slip.
Yeah. It's also because, parang endearment, di ba? Lovely.
Yes.
So,
sabi ko nga, paano kung naging hindi ka maganda? Mabuti na lang at maganda ka. Bakit ganyan ang pinangalan sa'yo? Kasi yun talaga daw ang pangalan niya. Hindi yung nickname.
Nice.
So, ang very confident naman yung mga parents mo, kako, na they presumed you're going to be lovely.
Well, she is.
Buti na lang, lovely siya. She's so cute. She's so maganda.
Yeah.
She is really so lovely, you know? So sabi ko, wow, ang swerte mo ha. Kasi kung hindi ka lovely, kawawa ka. Kasi pag tatawanan ka, ibubuli ka, etc. Kasi hindi ka lovely.
Well, yes.
Anyway,
so we want to thank Lovely. I mean, Lovely is very much part of this episode as well. Every episode because she's been helping Doctora from her.
We should also thank Celeste. She brought us together.
kung may time pa manood si Celeste, ito na yung pagpugay sa'yo, astang.
Oo.
We thank you. And we're going to have something to explore next week. The word came up. I really love exploring the meaning of bahala na, which is the, yes, kung na-explore mo nga, parang galing yan sa word na bathala na.
Yes, it is. Yes, and it's very Filipino.
Correct. So thank you. That's been your 9th episode. We will have our 10th episode next week. Ready ka na ba?
Oh, ready ako parati.
Thanks, Doctor.
Okay. Yes.
Bye-bye. Hang in there.
Thank you.